Hello everyone, this is MP again. So in today's video we gonna discuss like how we can make connection with SQL database. So in this video I will demonstrate it, like what we need and how we gonna make a connection with the SQL database to verify the UI values against the database values. So in this slide I'm just telling you like we need a connection string and query for the to get the data from the database, and then is there we need a connection string to make a connection with the database, and then what we gonna do, we gonna read the data from the SQL database, and then we gonna bind it to the data in the data table, and then we gonna read it from the user interface. So now we have like both data. One is what we read it from the user interface, and another one is we reading from the database. So then we're gonna compare the data from the data table with the user interface data, and for this one we must need a SQL database management studio to test our queries, and whenever we have to do a database testing with the automation, we always need a SQL database management studio. It could be any version. Most likely I'll recommend like SQL management studio 14. So let's start. So in my application, if you can see, like we have this category, and in under this category we have these four values, and this is category ID and this is category name. So what we gonna do, these values are coming from the database, and I am assuming this is a data grid. So we gonna read this data grid, and then we have to go to the database, and in the database in category table we have these values. So these values are in the user interface. These values are coming from the database. So let's start, guys. All right. My bad, what happened? All right, guys. So here we have a piece of code, and now we're gonna go to my function. I already made a function to read the data from the data table to save our time. So let's copy this function over here. So in this function it's getting error. Maybe we need to add namespaces. Okay, cool. And then we need to add SQL client. All right, so works okay. So now we have these all namespace. We added these two namespaces because that's needed when we are working with the collection SQL database adapter. Okay, guys. So in this database, this method, this is a method type of data table. So we are this method returned a data table. So what it do, it is taking the SQL query like star select blah 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 from the table, and then here we gonna pass the connection string, and then we gonna open the connection, and we gonna read it with the help of SQL data adapter, and then we are binding that data into this data table. So here we are closing the connection, and here we are just returning that data table with that data which we read from the database. So first of all, we have to make a query like select star from category, and this is giving us the category name. So what we can do, we can verify these category ID and category name at the same time, since we are reading that from the data table, and we gonna compare it against the UI element, because in the UI element we also have these two values. If you can see here, these are the category IDs and these are the category names. So guys, in my case, I'm just making a connection string. So it will be a string on string, sorry, connection string, and okay, so sorry guys, I just copied it like that. So we have to remove the XML tags, because I copied from XML file. Eventually I'll show you how we can make it configurable in the functions. Okay, what else it needed? Okay, I think it should. So guys, here what we're gonna do, we're gonna remove this portion, and now only this error is left over. So we're gonna resolve this. Looks good to me. Okay. Oh, what happened? Oh, what? What happened to this one now? Sometime it behave weird. Anyways, so our connection string is ready, but why this is giving error? Oh, maybe I put two courses over here. Okay, so now it looks better. So this is the connection string which we gonna use for our database connection. And what I gonna do then, now we have to reach, oh sorry, and now we have to reach on that point. So now we have to reach till this point when we gonna see that category. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna open up the category menu, and then we're gonna read the data from the data grid. So let me comment these lines out, because we don't want to go to the product menu and add those categories. Okay, so let's comment it out, and now we have a open window, and we gonna go to that product menu. Let me write the code for that. So guys, I think we already wrote the code for the category portion, so let's bring that here, paste, and then remove the comment portion. But we have to see, let's go to the definition, and then we have to see, because here we are closing the what it called, closing the window, and now at this portion we can just comment it out for now, so that the software will not close it automatically. So in this case, I think it's gonna open the window. Let's see what it will do. Okay, so yeah, it's working, and now we reached till this point, and now what we have to do, we have to read the data grid. We're gonna go here and generate the code, and when you hover on the data grid, just press Ctrl I. So at least this is telling you so it's a data grid view, as I told you. So it's in the parent window is manage category. Okay, so this is the window, and then that window have that data grid view, then row, then cell. So we have to write these four functions for this hierarchy. Okay, let me write the code. So here guys, I wrote the code for the data table, so we gonna put that code here. So this is just nothing but a win table. You can also write code on the main class, but it's good to write here because eventually we're gonna do the same thing here. So what I'm doing here I'm just passing this window to if you see, I made this function, it is a control name type. So control name is this DGV categories, and so I am returning the window to the main class, and then I gonna call this win table. So it's variable gv itself my function dot win table. Okay, win table, and then what parameter it need the parent window, which can be gv, and then the table name. So table name is just data grid view, so it does not have any fancy name. That's why developers need to write that kind of code which is easily automated by testers, but I think this application is not that much written in a very good practice, so that's why I just gave a simple name. Anyway, so I also wrote the same code for the Windows win cell and win row. So I'm just copying and pasting my code for the win row and win cell. So similarly, it is just taking the parent table as an argument, and then row index, what row you want to read, and then we're gonna go to the parent row, which will be a row index, and then we're gonna go in a column index. So this is how we read the data grid view. So here we have to call variable gv row, and then we're gonna call my function dot win row. Okay, so guys, this video will be little longer, so please excuse me for that. But yeah, I don't have like any faster way to show you like how I gonna, there is no shortcut. So now we have to pass the row index. So what we gonna do, firstly we have to count like how many rows are there in the data grid view. So that I think we can, firstly let's comment it out and check how many data rows are there. Or we can also make it like in a parts, so that we will cover like both data grid view reading and all that. So data grid view dot row count something, there should be a method for row count. So here we can say rows dot count. Okay, so what we can do here, we have to run a for loop where we can read the rows. So I think this row is, let's check it out, what is the index of this row. So if you see this, the row index should be 1, I guess. Yeah, it's 1. Row index is 1. So our for loop will be start from 1. So I will be 1 and it will go up to row count. Row count. So it should be less than equal to row count. So now we will have like row count, and our for loop is a loop through all the grid view. So now we need to pass the cell, and that cell index, so when we gonna go here, we have to declare, we can declare I think outside too. So gv, what I'm doing, gv window, this is gv, this is gv row. So here we gonna call win row, and we will have, and this in the parent of the window row we gonna pass this, and here I think we need a row index. So definitely it should go here, and the row index should be, so let's see the function. So yeah, we have to pass the row index and it will return the whole row. Okay, so a row index is we gonna pass I, because it will always change. Oh, so it is taking the string type dot to string, we need to convert here every time. Okay, and now what we have to do, or maybe we can just delete this. So now we having a row data, And now what we have to do, we have to go into the cells now. So we have to create an instance of cell variable, or maybe we don't need a variable actually. My function dot win cell. Now we have to pass the row as a parent, and then we have to pass the column string. And here, what is the trick here? We have to see, because we have to read like 2 columns instead of 1. If there would be 1 table, then we can simply say we can fix that a number. But now we have to check, like it's this is, I think, let's check it. What is it? Column index. Its row index is 1 and column index is 0. So this is a 0 column, and this one should be the column index should be 1. Where it goes, line count. Okay, so this is not giving me that. Okay, so yeah, the column index is 1 because we went to edit box, so that's why. So the column index is 1, so we need to fix this one. We're gonna verify with 0, and this one so we can make it more dynamic. If we don't know the values, then we can verify with the columns as well. That is going to be very long, I guess. So I mean, that's very complicated scenario. Eventually we're gonna cover that too. So then there will be, no matter what column we are taking, so it will also count the column. Now we are only counting the rows, right? Because rows are always more dynamic, and columns, because we having only 2, that's why we are fixing like 0 and 1. But eventually if there will be, like, suppose that if there is like 50 more columns, then we will not fix that for each column. Then we will make our function more dynamic. So what it will do, it will, like, firstly go into the column, and then it will get the value from that particular row, and then it will choose like column by column. So eventually we will do that. All right, so what we gonna do here, we gonna say like we have to pass 0, and we gonna get that. Let's see what it's returning. Column index, and it returning the my cell. Okay, win cell. We can see like what it's returning, and in the same thing we can just say 1, and then we're gonna say message box dot show the value of this one. What happened now? Message box dot show. Did I say something wrong? Cannot convert cell. You know what, I think we have to get that value from win edit instead of cell, because this is a kind of or we need a get function to get the value from that cell. Okay, so I think we have to make this as a variable. gv cell 1, and the second one we have to do okay. So what's wrong with this one? Okay, this one is 2. So what we can do here, when the cell is coming into this one, then we can get property. Okay, then we are getting the property, and then we have to see in which. Okay, so this is coming from value. And now we can put it in message box dot show, because it will return it as a string. What happened now? Object to string. Okay, dot to string. Yeah, okay. So actually guys, I am working on UFT right now, so I totally forgot the syntax, and when you working after a very long time, it's always hard to up to speed. So anyways, here we gonna get the cell 2 values, and that's it, I guess. Here we are showing the message box. Okay, so I think we looks pretty good. So I hope it will work. Let's see. Come on. Oh, it's hidden, guys, here. So it gave like 5, and now it will goes to the second column and give this value, and then it's giving 6 and this and 7 and this and 8 and this, and the loop is over. So that's it. Good. All right, so now we are having like all the cell values of the UI, so we are reading successfully the UI portion. So I think the database portion we should do in the next video, because this video is already like a movie right now. It's like half an hour. So let's make that another part, how we gonna read that from the database. Thank you guys. I hope you will like the video and you will get some good information. So thank you very much. Bye bye.